Hi everybody, today I will review the brand new AI Sky Enhancer filter in Luminar 2018. Now a new updated version just came out November 2nd, 2018, and I would like to show you how it works, how it performs, and which image will be your best bet to use this filter. So let's dive right in. Okay, so we're looking at Luminar 2018 right now. It's been opened via Lightroom as a plugin. So now I clear my workspace. I'm gonna add the filter that you'll find the essential will be the second filter. We're gonna go and choose it. And it's very simple. All you gotta do is choose the amount. So you can bring the amount up to 100% and then you'll see the before and after. So one thing I gotta say about this filter is it works great once you have a lot of nice blue and some cloud in the sky. Another thing that happened here, as you can notice, I'll play with the filter, the amount a bit, but look at the water. So there's a reflection of the sky in the ocean right here. And I want you to pay attention to when I move the slider back and forth. So none of that's been affected by the filter. The filter only affects the sky portion of the image, which it's kind of like a little tricky image. I want to see if the reflection of the sky would work, but it didn't do much changes. And I'll zoom in a little bit and let's take a look at the trees here to see if there's much difference where the actual the clouds meet the trees. And again, you'll see it is very nicely done. So Luminar basically create some type of I would say like a layer, a mask, and it's very well done very quickly. So you can go ahead and say apply. We're going to do that, and then we're going to go back straight to the actual library in my Lightroom catalog. So I will show you some examples. So this is some images that I chose and I explain some of them why. So that's the before and that's the after. So in many of those photos, that's the one we just did here. That one, that's the before and that's the after. So you'll see a lot of these images, by the way, haven't been corrected. You'll see this dust in my sensors, but most of them will have a change in the blue, will get super dark, and then they will be very nice contrast with the clouds. Now this image didn't do very well. If you take a look at the actual sun in the background, those are all raw images from my A7 III so far. And the clouds itself have a bit of blue in them. So what the filter did on this one is bring a little bit more of the blue and a bit more clarity and highlights in the clouds. So this one, again, didn't work very good. And it's lots of grain, as you can see here. So in some cases, not the best results. Now this beautiful sunset here, lots of orange at the bottom there. Now you can see a big difference in the orange. Actually got a little bit more saturation, a little bit more vibrance in the color. The blue tints are a little darker, and now definitely more appealing with the filter. Now this one was a big question mark because we have a lot of like pink and different colors and nice sky all over. So basically you get a little bit more contrast. The sky is darker, and as you can tell, there's a little bit more definition between the blue, the red, the pinks, and it's actually did a very decent job there. This one, again, not much change. In this one, the blue get a little darker, but again, into the orange and red tint here, a little bit more saturation, so it works great. Now, this was a tough photo. I took this one. There was a lot of forest fire in British Columbia and Vancouver Island over the summer, and that was taken during that period of time, so it looked like the sky is actually on fire. It's just crazy. So nothing really changed. So this is an image that's super dark. I was hoping that that filter would brighten the image because it's already too dark, but what happened there is it created a little bit more contrast, but definitely brought a little bit more saturation and vibrance into the reds, but that's it. So it won't be correcting your image if they're too dark. So that's Vancouver. Again, not much of difference at all in this photo because there's not much there. Now this cloud in Seattle, another thing I want to see, because you'll see there the before and after very good. So now there's more definition in the clouds. There's definitely like the blue pop up that much better. But also I want to take a look at the building itself, right? So let's take a look. That's the before and after. I want to see if the actual mask would spill in the building a little bit. But as you can tell, not much of the building's been affected. I can tell a little bit in this one because there's a little bit more blue in it. You can tell that there's a little bit of a difference. Like you can tell the blue's been affected a bit in the building, but in the brown one, in the black one, nothing changed there. So it actually worked very nice. Now same idea with this one. I can tell right away that the top of this building, because there's blue in it, it's been affected a little bit. Not much of the rest. How about this one there? You can tell the blues are affected a little bit there, but not so much. It's not bad in a way that the way they mask the image or they work with the image is actually very nicely done. Now this photo from Mexico, very nice sky, lots of colors, not a lot of layers, and as you can tell, that photo worked fantastic. So again, the orange and the blue and the contrast, it's been fantastic. And in the pool, not much change in the pool, maybe a little bit of the reds in just minor, a little bit more saturation. This photo from the Pacific Rim National Park, West Coast, Vancouver Island, again very dark here, but the sky had a bit of different colors in it, very frantic colors again. The contrast is a little strong for me, but again with the slider you can choose the opacity of your filter, but did a decent job there too. Now this is where I think these images work best. So a lot of clouds, nothing is overexposed. That being said, everything is exposed properly. Got a nice dark blue. I was in Thailand, that one. Now take at the after. Very nice, good definition in the sky. Now I want you to take a look at the clouds itself, but right here in that little area of the image. So see how that does not change a whole lot. There's quite a bit of blue in this area, but it changed just a notch, but not too much. So this is where this filter works great, and I'll show you in a moment if I try to do the same adjustment with Lightroom. So that one, the blue temple in Thailand, and the reason why I chose this because there's lots of blue everywhere is the blue temple. So I want to see if there was much difference in the blue in the dragons in front, but as I go back and forth I don't see too much changes in the blue at all either. So it worked actually very nice. I chose this photo because the sky is all around, but there's also those little bells everywhere. So let's see if it works. It does. So, but the contrast in the clouds are not that prominent, but the actual filter will work even if your cloud is spread in its branches or anything in front of it. So that one, a very gray sky. Gray sky works great. It's another problem. It works fantastic. I was in Bangkok. Now this one, I chose this one because there's already a lot of blue in it, and there's a bunch of bats, tons of bats came out of a cave that night, and you can tell that it just darkened the image a little bit and add some contrast. So it's actually not bad at all. Same idea, super blue image. Now the blue is that much more intense, right? So this filter definitely affects the blue tint, as I keep mentioning. This one near Port Hardy, the mountain in the back got quite a bit of change. I find the filter was good at deciding where the mountains and the trees and the buildings were, but in this image, these mountains got affected quite a bit, and so are the clouds there. So it's kind of a all around. Now this is a JPEG image, so you can tell there in the JPEG image that it worked all right too. Definitely a bit of noise and weird stuff happening in the clouds, but in general, keep it to a raw file, it should be all right. So I was taken in Quebec, and that was just like a kind of like underexposed image a little bit. I just wanted to see what the actual result would be, and it just made the sky that more dramatic, but didn't touch everything else, so that was great. Now in Ottawa, near the Parliament. Now that one was overexposed in this area of the image, so I wanted to see with the image overexposed a little bit what would happen, but again, worked fantastic. Doesn't look too crazy, so it worked great. Same idea with this one. That one had the proper exposure, but I just wanted to see again with like a very bright sky. So you still retrieve lots of details in there and it looks great. And this one was very dramatic. And I don't know what happened with this image. It's a raw image and lots of grain. It's not that great. So if I look, it was shot with an ISO 400, but this image as is right now is probably good enough for me, but like if I use this filter, it's just too much. There's just too much weird colors happening. So in some cases it brings a lot of noise for no reason. A little portrait that I took on the beach there, and just wanted to see if most of the water here that looked like clouds basically, but it's just a water movement with a slow shutter speed, and that didn't get affected, so that's good. So they're very good at triggering the clouds only. I'm wondering if there's some type of algorithm that only chooses the top part of the image if they see anything else. So it's been done perfectly. And we're at the first image. So let's just go to my grid there, and I will show you this image. So that's the raw image, and that's the one in Luminar. So I'm just gonna show you a little bit. If I would go to the develop module here, so the saturation and the luminance. So we're gonna darken this blue sky a little bit to match more or less this one, and we're gonna add some saturation. And now we're kind of matching this blue pretty well there. And then after that, we're gonna go and bring the highlights down for the clouds, and then maybe get this white down a little bit, and then a little bit less contrast maybe. And that's roughly what we got for the clouds right now. I'm gonna go back full. So that's the changes I made, and that's Luminar. So I want you to take a look again in that little place there. So if I do these changes with Lightroom, that and introduce a lot of blues and a lot of, yeah, I change a lot what's happening down there, versus with Luminar I don't. So this is one good stuff. I would probably need to do all those changes with gradient filter in Lightroom or using a brush. So this gives you a great starting point to work on an image with Luminar. So you don't have Lightroom, then you go ahead, change the sky a little bit, do whatever you gotta do, and then after that you can readjust the photo, add more filters and stuff like that. So in conclusion, do I like the AI sky enhancer? I would say yes. In 85% of the cases that I tried, the one that I just showed you, it worked great. Again, it works best with like blue skies and white clouds. Now, if you have lots of color in your sky, sometimes a bit of a hit and miss in some cases, but in most part it worked great. For the noise and the weird colors, now it's not happening a lot, happened only like a few occasions, and I'm sure with updates the filter would be better. But again, if you're Luminar user and you have this filter, now it's a major update, it's great. It's a great tool to have to as a starting point to work on your image. So hopefully that will help you a little bit to decide if you want to use this filter, if you want to buy Luminar because of this filter, or you're just curious about it. So if you would like me to cover different topics on Luminar or HDR or any type of software, just let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and not give me a thumbs down, and that's just how it goes. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.